So fine, we have been discussing go to the minimum spanning tree. Next. Back. Okay, so we have been discussing the minimum spanning tree. Basically, it's an algorithm which we require to generate a minimum spanning tree for a given graph. So, right. So, this is our problem setup. We have a undirected graph G, which is a set of vertices and set of edges, and it's a weighted graph. That means we have a weight factor as well. So we have a weight association with every edge. Our objective is to generate a spanning tree. Spanning tree is a tree which connects all the vertices of a graph. That means it's a connected tree which connects all the vertices. But objective is here, the optimization function is for minimizing the weight. So the total weight of all the connection has to be minimum. That is the objective. We have discussed there are two approaches. Next. So we have discussed that there are two approaches. One is a Kruskals approach and second is Prim's approach. So next. Okay. So this is a Kruskals approach. Basically, it uses a set of disjoint structures. So let us today we will be discussing one example, and we try to understand how Kruskals basically solves it. So let me. So let's say we have this graph. Obviously, it's a connected graph. So we have this graph over here. There are how many vertices? Vertex. There are 5 vertices A, B, C, D, and E. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 edges. Now let's say we have a weight association with every edge. Right. So this is my input graph. So 5 vertices and these are the edges. Now what Kruskal does, it first of all lists out all the edges in sorted order. So which one will be the sorted? Which will be the first edge in the sorted order? I am sorting in ascending order. So the first is A, C. Next, total weight is 2. Next is GC or CB, whatever you say. Remember, it's a undirected graph. So whether it's an edge BC or whether it's CB, it doesn't going to make any difference. So BC, which weight as 3. Next is BB, weight is 4. Next, CD 6. Next, BN next, AB C next, BE. Right? So this is the first step in Brussel's approach, sort all the edges in ascending order of its weight. Now, Brussel uses a data structure called set. So graphically we will see, or how can we put it on a list form, that also we will see. Initially it is assumed that all the elements are independent. All the vertex elements are independent set. So we can represent it like this. So we have A, B, C, then D, and E. So there are 5 vertices and each of these are independent initially. List form, if you want to show it in a visual form, then this is what it will look like. So remove all the edges. This is how it looks like. Initially, all the vertices are independent set. So that is step number 2, initialize this set. Step number 3, now traverse through every edge. So you will simply run a for loop on the edge in sorted order only. So first edge is AC. Check whether they belong to same set or not. So you have to check into this. Are they belong to same set? No. How can you get it visually? Are the A and C connected? No. So that means this edge can become part of my minimum spanning tree as per Brussel's approach. So visually I will connect it, and on a set theory I will simply make a union of these two. So now my A and C will belong to the single set, and B, D, and E. Right? Next stage, BC. Again, you check 2 endpoints. What are the 2 endpoints? B and C. Are they belong to same set? No. This is set for B. This is set for C. So they are not belonging to same set. It means that this edge will be part of my MST. Visually, I will connect these two. Okay. Next, BD. Again, check endpoints. 2 endpoints are B and D. Check. Sorry, here. I need to merge these 2 sets. So A union this. Okay. So now step number 3, BD, B and D, B here, D here. So they are not belonging to same set. It means that this can be the part of my minimum spanning tree. So I will simply perform this set union this. So A, B, C, D, and E. Visually I will say that B and D are connected. Right? Next, CD. 2 endpoints are C and D. Check the set of C and D. Are they belong to same set? Yes. Yes. That means this edge cannot be part of my minimum spanning tree. Next is DE. D and E. Are they belong to same set? No. So it means that this edge will be part of my MST, and that means this will be connected. And again I will perform a union over here. Right? Next, AB. Are they belong to same set? Yes. So that means you are supposed to skip this. Next is CD. Same set? Yes. So skip. Next, BB. Same set? Yes. So skip. So now, at the end you have this, which is a single set, and also at the same time you will have minimum spanning tree. This is the minimum spanning tree for a given graph. I hope it's clear. Right? So now let's see the example, or sorry, algorithm, what exactly we are okay. Next. So basically we have these two parameter for a graph G, and second is W. G indicates the set of vertex and set of edges, and W is your weight function. Initially your A is empty, A is your solution space. So A means your MST, minimum spanning tree, which is initially empty. Then F, check this line number 2 and 3. What we are doing for each vertex B belongs to B of G, make set V. That's the initialization. For a given graph, we have created this set. That is what it means. Individual set. Right? So that's the for loop on every vertex. Then line number 4, sort the edges in order of its weight. That's what we have done over here. We have actually sorted the edges in order of its weight in ascending order. Then line number 5, for each edge UV belongs to E in sorted order. So for each edge UV belongs to E. This is set E, right? There are 8 vertices, 8 edges. So this is my set E. For each edge UV means 2 endpoints, U and V. For each edge UV belongs to E, check if find set U is not equal to find set B. Now find set is another method that will give you the set reference of every vertex. So that means we are checking whether set of A is not equal to set of C, or in general set of U is not equal to set of B. If that is not true, then it makes a case where UV can be a part of your minimum spanning tree. So what we will do now, A is equal to A union UV. What is A? A is your solution, A is your result, A is your resultant variable, whatever you can say, but A is your minimum spanning tree. That means we are adding that particular edge into my minimum spanning tree. Second thing what we are doing, we are making a union of U and V. So whatever is the set available of U and V, we are operating or we are performing a union operation. And we will repeat this till line number 4. How many times we are repeating? Since that means basically we are traversing every edge. So if there are n number of edges, then we are repeating this n times. Clear? So let us now, is the algorithm clear? It's very straightforward. If you understood the approach, the algorithm is very straightforward. Now let us try to understand the time complexity. Again, first step is initialization, so we go of 1. Second and third step, it's a for loop. How many times we are running that loop? How many times we are running that loop? How many times? Number of vertex times. So whatever is the number of vertex, let's say if there are 5 vertex over here, then this loop will be repeated 5 times. So basically that first for loop between line 2 and 3 is iterating 5 times. That means V times. Now V times we are doing what? What is the actual procedure which we are doing inside the loop? What is statement number 4? We are calling some function, right? Make set. So we need to identify what is the time complexity of that function. Imagine that is another algorithm. So you are actually repeating another algorithm V times. So what is the time complexity of 2 and 3? It is the time complexity of that algorithm max set multiplied by V. V is your set of vertices. So the time complexity of max set is actually 1. It's a constant. So it's big of 1. So that's why time complexity of line number 2 and 3 is big of V. Okay, are you getting that point? It's like you are repeating one time or the constant time, you are repeating V time a constant operation. So that's why it's big of V. Then you have a sorting. What you are sorting? You are sorting what? Ages, right? If there are n numbers in an array, and if you are sorting it in any of the efficient sorting technique, it will take n log n time. Whether you are going for merge sort or quick sort, these two are considered to be the most efficient sorting technique in a generic space, right? As far as your syllabus is concerned, as far as your course curriculum is concerned, merge sort and quick sort are the most efficient sorting technique, generic sorting technique, right? So the time complexity of that is also n log n. Now here we are doing it for every age. That's why the time complexity of line number 4 is what? E log E. So you have to just replace n with E. N is any number, here our number is E. So that's why time complexity of line number 4 is E log E. Then again line number 5, 6, 7, 8, we have another for loop. How many times we are running that loop? Fine, but how many times we are repeating that? How many times we are finding that? Till the time of all ages. So if there are 10 ages, then we are repeating it n times. Here in our case, the number of ages is E, so we are repeating it E times. Here, then again E times what we are doing inside. We are having one simple if case. Again, set operation is always taking the constant time. So whether you perform find set, or you perform union, or you perform make set, it always takes the constant time. So basically that loop will actually require big of E, because we are repeating it E times, and every operation inside that is a constant operation. We are not doing sorting inside. Remember, it's a constant operation, so the time complexity of that is big of 1. So ultimately it turns out to be that time complexity of that piece of code between 5, 6, 7 and 8 is big of E. So now if you want to find out the total time complexity, then you have to add all this. So you have to add big O of 1, big O of V, big O of E log E plus big O of E. And when you perform the addition operation, the total is always the highest order term. And highest order term in this is big O of E log E. Now where that particular term is coming from? It is the sorting operation. And that's why the sorting is the most time consuming operation in this algorithm. If you analyze this algorithm, then sorting is the most time consuming operation in this Kruskal's approach. So is this clear? You have to remember this time complexity. Okay. This is an example. We can quickly browse through it, but I think it's clear already. So we'll just have a quick overview of what we are doing. So we have first we have this graph which is given, the same graph which we have discussed in the example. So obviously you require a sorting first. So when you sort this, first edge will be edge between H and G. H and G are not connected, so that edge will be part of your minimum spanning tree. Then you will go to the next in the same line. So you have this Ci, right? Or you can have GF as well. Can be any of these two, right? So first let us take it Ci. C and I are connected? No. So that will be part of your minimum spanning tree. Next is GF. Are they connected? G and F. What is the color of G? What is the color of F? They are different color, means they are belonging to different set. So that's why G and F are not connected. So it means that you have to consider that particular edge in your minimum spanning tree you will make sure that they are not connected. So now you have HGF connected, INC connected, and then other are all the independent vertices. The next in the sequence is 4, AB. 1, 2, and then 4. CF is also 4, right? So it can be either AB or CF. It can be anything. But in this example, we have taken AB. So let's continue with that. A and B, are they connected? No. So that means that particular edge will be part of my minimum spanning tree, and now we'll make sure that they are connected. So now you have 2 sets. In fact, 3 sets over here. One is this, second is this, and third is this. And then you have 2 different or independent elements. The next is CF. Are C and F belongs to same set? No, they are not belonging to same set. If you see the color, then they are having the different colors. So it means that CF is also part of my minimum spanning tree, and I will make a union of it. So color will be changed to this common color. The next is IG, which is having 6 as a weight. But I and G, are they belong to same set? Same set? No. No. Sure. See, you have to just see whether they are connected or not. I am not saying that it should be directly connected. That can be indirect connection as well. Here, so you can see the color as well. So color is same. That means they are connected. Okay. But if there are no colors on when you are solving an unsolved problem, then you have to see whether they are connected or not. So I and G are connected actually. I, C, F, G. This is the connection between those 2 elements. So it means that IG will be not part of my minimum spanning tree. So I will have to skip that particular edge. Next is 6. After 6 you have 7, right? So you have 2 7 over here and that. So let's say first I think they are considering this. So CD. CD are connected? No. So CD will be part of your minimum spanning tree. Next is AH. Sorry, IH. I and H are connected? Yes, so skip that. Next is AH. Okay, you have 2 options, AH or BC. So let's say first AH. AH is connected? No, so you have to consider that. Next is BC. BC are connected, so you have to skip that. The next is 9. So DE, are they connected? D and E? No. See the color of E and D. They are not connected, so you have to consider that edge in your minimum spanning tree. And then next all are ignored because you have minimum spanning tree already. So this is just an example. I hope it's clear, Kruskal's approach. Any doubt? Is any doubt to online students? Okay, thank you. So the next in the sequence is Prim's algorithm. Okay. Again, before we discuss the algorithm, we first discuss the example so that it will be more clear. We'll take the same example. EB was 10. That was CD 6 and CE 12. EE 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is the same example. Now, the approach which is being used in Prim's algorithm is drastically different than what is being used in Kruskal's approach. They are using the different data structure. Here we have used a set, we have sorted something. Here, instead of sorting and set data structure, Prince is using a priority queue. Okay, so let's see. How we maintain the queue basically. So the first difference between these two is between these two. I think the PPT I'm having some another example, so I'm using the same example over here, because otherwise they will not be open that previous. So this is my graph. Okay. Now, as you know that it maintains a priority queue. So whenever you have something like this, basically you are priority queue means a queue which will be performing an insert operation normally. So first in, first out is the queue operation. But in case of a retrieval, that means when you are removing or extracting any elements from a queue, at that time you are having either a minimum preference or you have some maximum preference. So there are two types of priority queue. One is mean priority queue, second is max priority queue. But ultimately it will require some values. So how Kruskal does that? Basically it requires some sort of source vertex. So let's say A is your source vertex. Now, each of the other vertex will be pushed inside the queue. So you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I. So this is my queue, current position of queue. Before I insert any element inside the queue, I will set some number, some call it distance, some call it key, whatever you can say, but there is some number which is associated with every vertex. Initially, we are setting this to infinity. So the key for every vertex going to be infinity except the first vertex. That first vertex is called the source vertex. Okay. So this is the first difference between Kruskal's approach and Prim's approach. Kruskal's approach doesn't start with any specific vertex. Prim's approach always starts with one specific vertex. That vertex can be anything. It can be any of this, but you have to select one of them. From where you will start your building minimum spanning tree. So first vertex will be your source vertex, and for that the key value will be 0 initially. Then you will insert everything inside the priority queue. Now we are inserted everything inside a priority queue. Visually we can say that now my queue contains A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H and I. Now we will extract one vertex from a queue and it's a main priority queue. So which one will be extracted? The minimum value. Which of these is minimum? Which one of this is minimum? A. Because A is 0, everything else is infinity. So A is the minimum value which we have. That means we have extracted A. That means now you will check all the adjacent vertex of A. In other words, you can say you will make a cut across A. What you are doing, you are making a cut across A. That means now you are actually looking into every adjacent vertex of A. That means you will simply see how many edges which are connected to A. So how many edges over here? 2, right? So that means now you have a loop over all the adjacent vertex of A. There are 2 such vertex. So first there is a B. First you will check whether B is inside a queue. Is it inside a queue? No. This is my queue. Is B inside a queue? Yes, it is inside a queue. Next thing you will check, what is the current key value? Infinity. What is the weight of AB? 4. Is weight is less than current key? Yes. In that case, you will update the key value of B. So it means this will be updated to 4. Clear? Is this clear? So what we have done, first we have accepted A. So that means now A is no longer part of my queue. Then make a cut across it visually. Logically, what we are doing, we are traversing through every adjacent vertex of A. First of them was B. Check number 1, is B part of Q? Yes. Check number 2, is the weight of AB is less than the current key of B? Yes. So in that case, you will update the key value of B. At the same time, you will also update the parent of B. So it means ahead of this queue, you are maintaining something called a parent of every vertex. So let's say these are my vertices. Initially, none of them are connected. So that parent is fine, null, whatever you can say. Now, because we have updated the key value of B through A, my parent of B will be A. Okay. Next adjacent vertex of A is H. First check, what is the status of H? Is it part of Q? Yes. Check what is the key value of H? Infinity. Is it less than weight of AH? Yes. So that means this will be changed to A and my parent of H will be A. Clear? Now A is no longer part of Q. Every other is still inside the queue but with updated key values. Repeat this, queue is till your queue is empty. So what will be the next vertex? Remember, it's a mean priority queue. So what is the minimum value? A is no longer part of queue. So अभी A में क्या queue में क्या है? B2 है. So minimum is B. That means B is extracted. B is removed from Q. Now again make a cut across B. How many pages? C, H, A. C first. Is it part of Q? Yes. What is the key of C? Infinity. Weight is 8. So this will be changed to 8. Parent of C is B. Next is H. Is it inside Q? Yes. Is it inside Q? Yes. What is the key value of H? E. What is the weight of 8 EH? 11. Is 11 less than 8? No. So no changes. Right? No changes required. We will skip that particular age. Next is A. Is A part of Q? No. So skip that. Clear? So after second iteration, this will be the state of Q. Again, next technique. Which one is minimum? Both are same, so you can extract anything. So let us extract first. C. So C is removed. Right? Again, make a cut across C. So how many endpoints are connected? 4. So first B. Is this part of Q? No. So skip I. Yes, it is part of Q. What is that? It's infinity. So we'll change it to 2 and parent of I will be C. Next is F. F. It's infinity, so you will change it to 4. And this will be changed to C. Next is D. What is its value? Infinity. So now we'll change it to 7. D is also C. Clear? So that's it. Now next in the sequence. So now you have which one is minimum? I. So I will be expected. I is expected. Okay. Again, make a cut. So how many adjacent vertex? C, G, H. First C. C is part of Q. No, skip it. Next is G. G is part of Q. Yes. What is the K of G? It is infinity. What is the weight of CG? It's 6. This will be changed to 6. And parent of G will be I. Next is H. What is the current key of H? 8. What is the weight of IH? 7. So that means now 7 is less than 8. So it means this will change to 7. At the same time, parent of H will be changed to I. Okay? That's it. So now after this iteration, you have this is the state of Q. What is next? Minimum is F. F is expected. Where is F? Here. Again, make a cut. First is E. E is inside a Q. Yes. What is the weight? Is 10. What is the key of E? Infinity. Change it to 10. And this will be changed to F. Next is D. D is inside a Q. Yes. What is the weight? 14. What is the key? 7. So 14 is not less than 7, so no change. Next is C. C is inside Q. No, so no change. Next is G. G is inside Q. Yes. What is the current key of G? 6. What is the weight of GF? 2. So this will be changed to 2 and parent of G will be changed to F. Clear? So that's it. 7. 7. What is the next? G. Right? G. How many adjacent vertex? H, I, and F. What is the status of H? H is inside a Q. What is the weight of HG? 1. What is the key of H? 7. 1 is less than 7. So this will be changed to 1. G. So that's done. We have expected G. So that is being done. Next is I. I is inside a Q. No. So skip. Next is F. F is inside a Q. No. So skip. Okay. So after this, you have 10 over here and 7 over here. What is next? H. So that means this is done. This is done. H. How many endpoints? A, B, I, and G. A is inside a Q? No. B is inside a Q? No. I is inside a Q? No. G is inside a Q? No. So no change. Next is, so that means after this equation you have as it is. Next is B. Where is D? Here. How many edges? C, F, and E. C is inside a Q? No. F is inside a Q? No. E is inside a Q? Yes. Yes. So what is the key of E? 10. What is the weight of DE? 9. 9 is less than 10. So this will be updated to 9. And parent of D will be updated to D. Okay. The next is E. No other in the Q, so we can't change. Clear? This is Queen's approach. So basically you are repeating something till your Q is empty. The question is, how are you going to generate minimum spanning tree now? So now we want to generate a minimum spanning tree, right? So what is going to give you minimum spanning tree? Parents, right? Just make sure that each node is connected with its parent. So parent of A is null, so because that was the source vertex. Next, parent of B is A. Parent of C is parent of D is F, C, G, F, H, G, I, C. Right? This is how you will get minimum spanning tree. Is this clear? In the next class, we will see the algorithm on Queen's approach. Yes, any doubt?